Hello and welcome. Today I'm going to be working on the second part of the Shimano M732 shifter rebuild. So this will be the left side free speed. So let us commence on this shifter. First thing we're going to do is we're going to remove this bolt with a 5mm Allen key. And we can take off the shifter from the holder. So on the interior here there's a hole and there's a Phillips screw. So you're going to need something pretty small to be able to get in there and remove the screw. Looks like I've got it. Okay, now we can try and take off that cap. This one came off really easily. Be careful when you're going to take these off, as they can get damaged, so you don't want to damage them. So now that we've taken off that screw, I'm going to just put it back onto its body. It's going to hold everything in place for us while we work on this. So now I'm taking off the nut. It's going to be going clockwise. So taking off this nut now. There's a kind of special washer underneath it. So here there's two plates. Alright, got it. Right, it says two plates underneath it, and you'll see that there's a circle and a circle. It means that they need to go on top of each other when you're going to be putting them back in. So now we're going to take off this part. There's two ball bearings. I'm going to take those off as well. Here there's a plate. Got it. There's another one just on top of that. Yeah, so got it. There's another spacer. Managed to finally get that off. I'm going to undo the bolt here at the back. Return spring itself and removing the pivot bolt. You'll notice on the inside, I'm trying to capture this on camera, there's some small notches right here, and you need to turn this into the right position because there's some teeth inside that are keeping it in place. So you need to turn it into the right position for it to be able to then release. On the inside there's the spring. There's still a tiny bit of grease, original grease inside on it. So there's two seals, a rubber hard plastic one and a copper ring. You'll notice on the back it's stamped as Mt.2. Okay, so pretty simple stuff. I'm going to give it a clean and then we're going to go on to the re-greasing and the rebuild. Given the parts a bit of a clean, I have also put some polish on the lever body of the thumb shifter to give it a little bit more of a shine. So now we're going to move on to the rebuild. So I'm going to put some Teflon grease, which is the cheapest commercial grease I can find. So I just finished my morning coffee. I'm a little bit more woke up. It's 7 o'clock. So we're going to put the black seal back on. Hopefully you've now added grease. Put that on the top there. And then we're going to put that copper washer at the bottom ring. We can now move on to the spring. So there's only one hole here, unlike the 7-speed shifter. So we're going to pop that spring into the hole. It's going to make life a little bit easier if we just have this shifter mount and the body's screwed on for working. So I'm not going to do it too tightly, just enough so that we can kind of play around with this. So now we're going to put the lever body back on, and the tip of that spring is going to go into the only hole that there is. There's also some notches, if you remember, that we had to release when we were doing this before, that we're going to now need to put back into the pivot bolt. So I'm going to now aim for the hole first. We're now going to turn slightly towards the notches. Okay, I think I've got it. Right, cool. And now that should be kind of sitting in place without falling off. Right, so now that you've done that, we're going to move on doing this this ring, and it has 2 notches on it as well, and there's 2 teeth on the main body here and here. So we're going to aim for those 2 parts. I think I've put a tiny bit too much grease on mine. Now this was kind of pushed down. Okay, so now we've got 2 O-rings to put in place. This black one, and that's actually going to sit inside the kind of space that's in the on the pivot. The next you're going to have a metal washer, and that's going to now sit on the top of this. We're now going to take this plate with the teeth on it, and we're going to install it roughly around about here, and it's quite a tight fit, but it goes on. Now you're going to have some ball bearings to put back on. Okay, so now we've got this this part to put on. We're going to put it so that the those 2 plates that kind of stick upwards are going in between the ball bearings. Next is these 2 plates. So in between the 2 plates there are some 2 circles here, and when I took them off they were kind of stuck together where there's those 2 circles, so I'm going to put them in the same position. So we kind of roughly want it this way, because the part that's going to go upwards here is going to go laying flat on top of the parts of metal that's sticking up. So it's pretty self-evident where they're going to go. So just to give you a idea on the side, as you can see they're going up, and that's where that plate sticking up is. So now we're putting this type of lock ring on. Lastly, kind of start pushing everything down, and now we're going to tighten up that nut. So to tighten the nut we're going to be doing this anti-clockwise. Be careful not to do this too tightly, because you can easily break these. The top of the pivot through the amount of tension that you're going to be putting down on it. Okay, so I undid the bolt at the back because we're going to need to put the top cap anyway, and you want to position the body on the mount in the right place, and you'll notice that when you go up, when you go back down, there should be a kind of a click to tell you that you're at the limit, and you'll see here mine's at the limit now, and there's like a small gap here in between. So before you start tightening down completely the lock nut, there's an extra thing you can do, which is if you undo it here at the back, you can actually tension the spring slightly more if you really want to, and see, look, mine just pops up. And so when it's like in this position and you haven't tightened it completely, you can actually turn it once it's in the mount, and turn it and give it a bit of a tensioning, and then once you've done that, you can then proceed on to tightening down the lock nut in place. A bit hard to explain, but it essentially does this instead of only a little bit of spring action. Now you'll see on the top cap there's a little dot there, and so that dot there that we've got, you basically want it to be aligned with one of those dots, whichever way you want to put it. So my one's clearly fitting in here on the top perfectly. It's gone right in the middle. You can actually move it to be on that side or the furthest away. So I'm going to just leave this one for the middle for now. Screw back in to secure the top cap in place. Yeah, that looks good to me. So now I'm going to put it back into place. Secure everything. Right, so let's check that this is still working, and you'll see here that I've It's got quite a nice bit of spring action I've put on mine. And click back on. Looks good to me. You can obviously adjust the nut inside by being careful, and you can kind of make it tight or less tight, however you want. But I'd say we're now complete. Thank you for listening. I hope this two-part video rebuild has helped you service and put back into life your Shimano Dior thumb shifters. So thank you for listening, and peace out.